Welcome back to Connerty Meadows Farm. My name is Ricky, and today we are going to be doing something very similar to this right here, this arbor, only on a much smaller scale in the front of our house to add some curb appeal and to be functional with some grapes on it, some other flowers, and to dress up the front of the house a bit. So come on, watch us start to finish.
All right, so here we are in the front of the house. This is the area in question. The middle bed there is the one that we are looking to put the arbor around. And then I will be adding 2 more raised flower beds with the poles that I cut there. So there I've got the 2 new raised beds made. And now we're just gonna cut some trees down here. My husband is awesome, always coming out and helping me do what needs to be done. He was really busy with work, but he still made the time to come and cut the trees, and then I got to do all the rest. Lucky to have a quad and be able to drag these out of here. I just hooked them up with a chain, off I go, drop them off at the front of the house, come back, get ready to drag the next ones out. Let's get these ones hooked up and we'll drag them up to the front of the house and come along for the ride. So this is what we're dealing with. I'll drop them off here. You can see how I chain them all up. So as I pull the chain, they actually tighten up. Now, cedar is actually really easy to strip the bark off in the spring. And you can see I'm just not using anything fancy. I'm literally just using a screwdriver. Just get up underneath the bark and then it just peels right off. And I'll show you here in a little bit of speed. You can see it actually takes little to no time at all to get an entire log done. And then I'll take these peelings off into the bush. We have some low spots on our quad trails in the sugar bush, and I'll just put them on the low spots and I'll let them decompose. In the past, I've actually gone ahead and put them in the flower beds, but needed to get some speed, so I called the kids out. So I couldn't find any footage of me actually digging the holes. I think I lost it, but you can see there's the holes. And now I'm going to go ahead and backfill the dirt in them, keeping everything nice and level. And I had put the dirt on some grain bags to try to keep it a little neater and cleaner, constantly leveling them off. And there we go. Get the next one up. Thomas came out and just double checked. He's been working, so he was upstairs working, and there were some big rocks I had him put in the hole there, and I did the rest. I was really pushing to get these done as the rain was coming, so I actually ended up having to put the camera on the deck. I wanted to get these 4 posts in the ground because there was holes in the ground and I didn't want the grain filling them all up. So I got them in, even though it was raining a little bit. Nothing too massive, just a little sprinkling. Enough that I was able to actually move the camera back outside and finish filling these holes in.
So those trellises are going to go up on the poles, and then this is going to have a top on it, and it's going to be an arbor, and then I'm going to put grapes and boxes on the side and a chandelier in the middle. And then I've added another flower bed there, and I've added one here, and these will be dahlias and straw flowers and basically all flowers up here. And then here we're gonna come out and around in a little mini bed, and then the grapes are gonna go up. Originally I wanted to do climbing roses, but some of the grapes got completely obliterated by the raspberries, so this is where they're gonna go instead.
So just some shots here to show you just the progress where we're at. So the trellising system, it's not going to stay in that triangle shape. The trellising system is actually what you use for rebar, and you can get it at your local hardware store, and I'll put a link down below. So right now what we're doing is we're just tying string to make sure it's level, and we're marking the top of the posts so that Thomas can go ahead and cut the top of the posts off with a chainsaw so they'll all be level. You can see it's a little bit of finicky and dangerous work, but he's done it many times. Look at the size of these spikes. They're 10-inch spikes, and that's what we'll be using to hold those top ones on. Thankfully, Thomas was done his day of work and was able to tap these in for me, but 10 inches, thankfully he only had 4 that he had to pound in at 10 inches because that's a lot of work. And he's always doing stuff like this for me, but I'll have to admit, when you do see the end product, it's well worth it. Yeah, see the size of that thing? Alright, so next up we're going to go ahead and we are going to pull the trellising back, tucking it down, and then we're just using staples that we would use for fencing. They're like little U-shaped metal staples, and you just hammer them all in. We'll just do, I think we did 3 or 4 per side. It was more than sufficient to hold them up. Like I said, these are very strong, and they're designed to go in cement along with rebar, and we find them really, really good for trellising. We were just cutting some of the top pieces, and then once we actually put it up there, we kind of went, you know what, they look really puny. So we went to the bush and we cut some more stuff down, and the girls helped us strip the bark off them, and then we used 8-inch nails to hammer them all into place. And as you can see, the day was getting away from us, and we are once again doing things in the dark. It's not uncommon for us to start a project and finish in the dark. It's just the way that it goes, and it's really the only time that I can steal Thomas away from his regular work day. I do apologize that it is dark, but I really thought that you'd want to see this end part here. So I've got some up close for you. At this point we're using headlights, getting those 8-inch nails down and in. And this was just a shot at the end of the night just to show you what it looked like. Alright, next morning, so you can actually see what it looks like. So I got this chandelier out of a dumpster, and I added the jewels that my mother-in-law had, and we hung it up in the middle there. Looks really good. Just to show you some angles.
So we finished in the dark last night. Ha ha ha. What else is new? But this is what it looks like now. So I just had to finish the beds around the sides so that we can put the grapes in there, and obviously put some soil in and the grapes in, and this will be done. And then we'll have to move that one and this one to the middle and get them full of soil and planted. But I think she looks pretty good.
So as I started working on the side beds here, AC actually realized that I missed hanging, I think 4 or 5 jewels, so she came out and she hung them for me. So I'm going ahead and I'm just building the little side beds. I had cut a number of pieces of wood and stripped them all already. I just needed to cut them to size. I went 3 high to match the bed that was already there. And as you can see, there is cardboard down underneath, so that will suppress any weeds going in. And then I will line it with grain bags. And I have done this previously on videos showing you how to make a raised garden bed, and I can put a link in here so that you can see how to make your own beds. Again, we lay cardboard down, we cut the cedar, and then we line them with grain bags, which is really inexpensive and stuff that we usually have on hand around the farm. Just letting you see here so you can see a better angle. And I tie them into the main posts, And then as you can see, I alternate ends. So one end is in and then the other end is out. And I just alternate. It gives them a little bit more strength. And then I use a big spike and I tie everything all together.
Well, this is where we're at now. I've got the side beds made. I just have to line the sides with this bag here, put the soil in, and get things planted. Doesn't she look pretty?
All right, I'll do a slow pan so you can see what it looks like. Now we're on to the next day, and I'm going to go ahead and put the bags in. Again, the link for how to do all of this is in the description below. I find reusing things like this great. Helps keep the soil in, helps keep the weeds out. This guy was having a good time. So I had John Davis rose, and then my grapes that I was able to add. And you can see them there. And here's one of the beds that's lined and ready to go.
Guys, it's all done. It's all done, it's all done, it's all done. Isn't it pretty? I have everything planted in the beds. It's very hard to see, so I'll show you up close. So I have a Concord grape here, a John Denver rose there, and it's a climber. Another Concord grape here. I've mulched them in. They're calling for rain this afternoon, so I haven't watered them. If we don't get enough rain, I will go ahead and water them. And then let's go on the front so you can see. So then tulips and crocuses coming up. We've got some welcome signs and our chandelier. And then on the other side here, I have another Cortland grape right here, another rose here, John Denver the same. And then this one, it's a surprise grape from Hardy Fruit Trees. And so we're curious to see what that one's going to be. And they will be able to climb all the way up the arbor. Definitely think that our front has a lot more curb appeal now. So we just are waiting for our soil for these two beds. There'll be dahlias, straw flowers, lavender, and a whole bunch of other cut flowers that I can put in there. Oh, hello, Sylvester. So now this is what our front area looks like. I think that we have curb appeal now. Thanks for hanging out with us as we went ahead and made the arbor on the farm. If you have any questions, feel free to pop them in the comments below and I'll get back to you. We'll see you next time on the farm.